Eligibility requirements for the Messiah. He must be Jewish. Deuteronomy 17 verse 15 prohibits us setting a non-Jew as a king over us. See also Genesis 49 verse 10. The scepter shall not depart from Judah. He must be descended from David and Solomon. 1 Chronicles 17 verses 11 to 12, 22:9-10. Psalms 89 verses 29 to 38. Jeremiah 33.17. 2 Samuel 7 verses 12 to 16. That line will be through the father, since the Torah teaches that families registered their ancestry by their father's household. Numbers 1:18. The Rambam, Maimonides, adds that the Messiah will resolve the numerous rabbinic disputes on Jewish law that came up over the past 2,000 years, or so after the Roman exile. Mishnah Torah, Hilchos Melachim 11:4. According to Jewish law, a Jewish anointed king, Mashiach, must be a fourth-generation born Jew from a Jewish mother. He must also be from an unbroken Jewish paternal line to Solomon. He must also be from the tribe of Judah, which excludes a paternal side convert. But more important is the fact that the Messiah must bring about the messianic era, which would include 1. Worldwide belief in the GD of Abraham, Isaiah 11:9, 40:5, Zephaniah 3 verse 9. 2. Worldwide peace, Isaiah 2:4, 11:6, Micah 4 verse 3. 3. Relocation of all Jews to Israel, gathered from the four corners of the earth, Deuteronomy 30 verses 3 to 4, Isaiah 11:12, 27:12-13. 4. The temple will be rebuilt, Micah 4 verse 1. 5. Resurrection of the dead and resettlement into Israel, Isaiah 26 verse 19. 6. Bring all Jews to Israel. 7. Fight the wars of GD and eliminate all idolaters. Afterward there will be world peace forever. 8. He must dedicate the temple as prophesied in Ezekiel. He must be anointed by a Sanhedrin led by a qualified prophet. This prophet is Elijah, who never died. Rambam points out that some of these events and other events must happen within the Messiah's lifetime. According to Rambam, the Messiah in his lifetime must a. Cause all Jews to become observant, b. Repair issues that divide us on halakhic questions, c. Fight the wars of Israel, d. Rebuild the temple, and e. Gather in the exiles. Hilchos Melachim 11:4. If the Messiah fulfilled some miracles but not all before dying, we cannot regard him to be the Messiah, and instead view him as a test or our own will. Hilchos Melachim 11:5. But if he did not succeed in all this or was killed, he is definitely not the Mashiach promised in the Torah, and GD only appointed him in order to test the masses. There are certainly other attributes and signs that might indicate that one is or is not the Messiah, but without bringing about the Messianic age, it doesn't matter if he performed miracles, rode a donkey into the old city, or suffered in any kind of manner for any length of time. The righteous among us produce miracles daily, and many of them suffer daily for the sins of other Jews who deserve punishment in this world for certain sins, but who might lose faith if he was punished as he deserved. See Talmud Bavli, Brachos 5a, and, let's be honest, for the right fee, anyone can ride a donkey into the old city. The bottom line we expect from the Messiah is that he deliver the Messianic era. Anything less won't work. Everyone in the world will acknowledge he is the Messiah because everyone will have prophesy. If even one person does not believe he is the Messiah, then he is not the Messiah. Is Messiah ben David considered a magical character? No, not at all. Contrary to popular opinion, Messiah ben David is not a superpowered person, miracle worker, deity, or any angelic being. The Messiah ben David is not magical or supernatural. Therefore, the person of Mashiach ben David is not considered a magical character. Messiah ben David is the person who does the following: brings all remaining Jews to Israel, fights the wars of GD and wins, fights against idol worshippers, fights against those that seek to eliminate Israel, builds and dedicates the temple as per the prophecy of Ezekiel. He is the Prince of Peace. He does all of this within his lifetime. The prophet Elijah will anoint legitimate Messiah. The Malachi 3 verses 22 to 24 in context, it is preceded by a warning to obey the Torah and a reminder that Elijah the prophet who never died will return to anoint the legitimate Messiah, who is a human being, so that he can dedicate the eternal temple of GD. The great day of GD is a reference to the gift of prophecy all humans will receive at this point because of the existence of the temple. The following speaks further on the restoration of the courts. The judges will not think themselves above their children. Children can mean students, and the children, students, will turn and listen to their teachers and follow the law. The Messiah only needs to do the following things to be the Messiah. He must be a human man, not a woman, a man. Only a man can be anointed a king under Jewish law. Queens may rule, but they are not anointed. The proper translation for queen is head princess. The concept of a queen equal to a king does not exist under Jewish law. He is born of a Jewish mother that has been Jewish for at least 4 generations on both sides. This makes him a Jewish-born person without ancestral flaw on his mother's side. He is born Jewish of a Jewish father from an unbroken Jewish paternal line to Solomon. This Jewish paternal line must be Jewish for at least 4 preceding generations on both sides. This makes him a Jewish person who is of the tribe of Judah and Rhe royal lineage of David through Solomon. He brings all Jews to Israel. Establish world peace after eliminating all idol worshippers and all those who seek to destroy the Jewish people. Rebuild the temple at the command of the prophet Elijah. Bring the offerings of the Prince of Peace, as prophesied in Ezekiel upon being told to by Elijah the prophet. Defeats all idol worshippers in a war and establishes universal monotheism and permanent world peace. He then needs to wait until he is anointed by Elijah the prophet. Then he is the Messiah. Religion in the times of the Messiah. It could be said that the only form of religion will be Jewish monotheism applied in various different ways. This will allow for Israelite and Gentile to keep their individual nature and still share in the goodness of GD. There will be 3 systems of religious practice during the Messianic era. All 3 will be founded in the monotheistic principles and theology of the Jewish Torah. 1. The 613 commandments for Jews who will all live in Israel. 2. The 7 laws of the sons of Noach for those non-Jews who live outside of Israel. Each nation/person outside of Israel will be free to live in any way that does not conflict with these 7 laws. 3. The 7 laws of Noach plus the special laws that apply to a Gerdeshav, non-Jewish resident of Israel. Sources. Personal instruction from the following. 2013 to 2016, Rabbi Drive Mordecai Goldstein TZL, former Rosh HaYeshiva, Dean of Diaspora Yeshiva. 2012 to 2013, Rabbi Abraham Brainwine TZL, former Chief Rabbi, Rebbe of Streeton Hasidim in Jerusalem, and one of the most prominent scholars of the Ashlag, Baal HaSulam, method of Kabbalah. 1993 to 2012, Rabbi Akiva Greenberg TZL, former Posek in America and Israel, arbiter of Jewish law. When do Jews expect arrival of Messiah? In the next decade, there are 2 major times that are most auspicious times. 2023 and 2030. These years follow sabbatical years, and those are linked with the time of the salvation at the end of days as per the book of Daniel and in tradition. How Jewish Messiah will prove he is Messiah and has line to King David. There are signs of who Mashiach is, in the Talmud and codified by Maimonides, Laws of Kings chapters 11 and 12, especially 11:4. Whoever fulfills them does not need an ancient family tree scroll to prove anything further. Whereas even someone with such a document still has to prove the criteria. So the qualified one will become known as the actual Messiah. He is destined to be from Judean governor Zerubbabel, from the book of Ezra, who is descended from many greats including Kings David, Solomon, Hezekiah, and Josiah. The commentary of Metsudo's David on Haggai 2 verse 23 and Zechariah 6 verse 12 is one of the sources for this. Partial quote from Maimonides, Laws of Kings, chapter 11. If a king will arise from the house of David who diligently contemplates the Torah and observes its commandments as prescribed by the written law and the oral law as David, his ancestor, will compel all of Israel to walk in the way of the Torah and rectify the breaches in its observance, and fight the wars of GD, we may, with assurance, consider him Mashiach. If he succeeds in the above, builds the temple in its place, and gathers the dispersed of Israel, he is definitely the Mashiach. He will then improve the entire world, motivating all the nations to serve God together, as Zephaniah 3 verse 9 states, I will transform the peoples to a purer language that they all will call upon the name of God and serve him with one purpose. If he did not succeed to this degree or was killed, he surely is not the Redeemer promised by the Torah. What prophecies which must be fulfilled in order to identify the Messiah? Mishnei Torah, Laws of Kings and Their Wars. By Maimonides, the Messiah is not identified through prophecies or miracles. Rather, he is defined as the Messiah, meaning the legitimate king of Israel prophesied in Ezekiel by fulfilling 3 laws regarding monarchial restoration successfully. Maimonides states that someone who does the first 2 can be assumed to be a potential Messiah. He then continues on and states that only someone who does all 3 can be said to be the Mashiach. The point is that to be the Mashiach you have to earn the title. The thing is that to be the Messiah all of it is to be done in one lifetime. He must be a Jew by birth from a Jewish mother. His father is from the tribe of Judah, and he is a descendant of King David through his son Solomon on his father's side through an unbroken Jewish paternal line. He is an observant Jew who follows Jewish law and believes in the Torah and all of Jewish theology, both written and oral. He rules the land of Israel and is the legitimate leader of the nation of Israel via the conquest of Israel. After these things come to pass, he brings all the Jewish people back to Israel. He leads the Jewish armies, fighting the wars of Judea, thus eliminating all idol worshippers, false religions, all who would harm Israel. He rebuilds the temple, reestablishes the Sanhedrin at the command of Elijah the prophet who has returned and confirms him as king. The prophet Malachi last verses. Then he is the Messiah and not before. He must do all of the above in one lifetime without dying. Judaism is passed down from the mother. One may be technically a Jew but not Jewish. Jewish in this case means a believed in the tradition of the prophets. Jewish doctrine states that the Messiah must do 3 things within his lifetime to be considered the Messiah. Bring all the Jews to Israel. Establish shalom. This includes world peace along with an end to all conflict of any type as well as no more idol worship. Complete the physical 3rd temple. Jesus did not do any of these. Therefore, he is not the Messiah under the tradition of the prophets. Judaism. According to the prophetic tradition, the Messiah is a human male from an uninterrupted father to son line from the house of David through Solomon and the tribe of Judah. According to Christian doctrine, Jesus had a non-Jewish father. Therefore, he does not qualify as the Messiah under the biological requirement either. All Jewish kings are called Messiah, anointed. This is different from the Messiah, which means the anointed and refers to a specific Messiah. Jesus never was a king over any physical R of the world. A high priest as well as Levites are also called Messiah, anointed. In Judaism, again not the Messiah, because they were initially anointed with oil. Jesus was not a Levite or of the priestly class. Some, but not all prophets are called anointed in Scripture, and they are only considered as such under Jewish doctrine when specifically referred as such in Scripture. Even then, it is usually a temporary or unique situation such as Moses' triple status as temporary high priest, king, and head prophet. According to Christian doctrine, Jesus was not a prophet, but rather a manifestation of deity. Conclusion. Christian doctrine and Jewish doctrine have mutually exclusive definitions of what the Messiah is. To believe one is to exclude the other. It is possible to be a Jew who is a Christian, but it is not possible to be Jewish and be Christian. Judaism and Christianity are incompatible. Jewish sources. Mishnei Torah. Laws of Kings compiled by Rambam, Maimonides. Christian theology sources. Christian theology verified with the local Christian clergy of Jerusalem. Catholic, Armenian, Protestant, Eastern Orthodox.